I'm Stasha and this is Becky and we are the team behind S&B Consulting and we want to welcome you to Spill the Tea with S&B where we talk about things that are happening in the world and give you some tips and tricks for things that you can implement today to try to help alleviate some of those stressors or navigate through transition and change. And right now it is springtime, so our theme for this conversation is all about spring, which brings renewal and restarts and refreshing. So, Becky, our first question for today's conversation is what helps you mentally or emotionally clear out the clutter?
Well, there's two kinds of clutter. There's the mental clutter, and then I find that clutter in my home causes me mental and emotional problems too. So I find if I put on some good music and I clean some of the clutter, like even if I just walk around the house and pick up clutter and get it where it belongs or get rid of it, and I keep a piece of paper and a pencil near me and I make a mental note of all the mental things because mostly as women, we carry the mental load for the household. So if I write it all down, then I can kind of start to tackle those projects also.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, cleaning house removes house clutter and mental clutter for me. How about you? What do you
I
do?
I love that. So some of mine are pretty similar. I'm finding that this spring I am doing a big spring cleaning where I'm decluttering. I'm getting rid of a lot of the things that I've collected over the years, and just cleaning out my space brings some type of relief for me. It clears out some anxiety. I just walking into and working within a clean space for me is just so nice. But I would really say that whenever my mind feels like I have clutter, whether it's emotional or mental, the very first thing that I do is I write it all down. And sometimes I'll do it on a piece of paper with a pen and a pencil. Sometimes I'll do it in my phone notes. And if I don't feel like typing, sometimes I'll do a voice memo or I'll do talk to text. But the most important thing for me is talking through and vocalizing the things that I'm feeling. And then also, it depends. So, if the clutter is coming from stress about all of the tasks that I have to do or things that are coming up, I will write down everything that's in my mind that I need to get down so that later on I can then turn that into some type of a schedule. So really for me, once it's on paper or on a computer or on my phone, it kind of clears from my mind. So I would say that that is a really great way that I clear out the clutter aside from doing cleaning, which I am also a stress cleaner. When I'm stressed, I clean, but I have to write things down, man, just to get that clutter out. So I think those are some great tips, a couple of good things that you guys can all try too, and let us know how they go for you, and also let us know if there's anything that you do that helps you kind of clean out that clutter that might be happening, whether it's mentally or emotionally. All right, Becky. So our next question here has to do with stability when we're going through some type of a shift or a life change or a transformation or transition. So how do you create stability when everything around you is shifting?
Well, that's a tough one because when everything's shifting, it's very hard to keep your footing. I like to keep my habits, good, bad, or ugly. My daughter and I like to watch funny TV shows. So we like to binge watch a whole series. Right now, we're watching The Middle. So we'll have a bowl of ice cream and we'll watch a couple episodes and we'll kind of during the commercial breaks, because we don't get premium services, during the commercial breaks she'll tell me about her day, or we'll talk about what's going on or what is shifting and how we're feeling about it, and then we'll get back to the mindless show and have a few giggles. So we kind of balance it with talking through it, and trying to relieve that stress and that anxiety with something fun. And sometimes my husband joins us. So we get all his stories too.
I love
So
that.
that's kind of how I do it. That's my, and I try to provide that for my family when I can.
I love that. And I love that your husband is willing to jump in and join you guys as well.
He
Um,
does, but we always have to get him caught up because he misses so many episodes. So,
I love that. I love that. Yeah, so I think when my world feels like it's shifting or it's unbalanced or there's uncertainty, which sometimes can cause anxiety and stress, or just feelings of emotion that you don't like or you're not comfortable with. I think that there are really two main things that I do to try to find stability. So again, I'll write down not only what I'm feeling and going through, but I will write down good things, which I call my anchors, or like maybe you might call them some type of gratitude sentences, but I will write something down that reminds me of the good things in my life. Or if I feel like things are unstable or uncertain, I will write down all of the things that are certain. Because what happens is our minds tend to focus on the negative and it forgets about all of the positive things that are happening or have happened in the past. So I have to write down those reminders and look at them and remind myself, maybe this one area of my life feels really uncertain and scary right now, but I have a lot of other areas in my life that feel wonderful and are secure, and I can always lean back on those. And then the second thing that I do for stability is I go to my people, whether it's, my mom or one of my friends. I have certain people that I go to who I know provide me a sense of stability and security. And they're just that person that makes you feel like everything's going to be okay. They're kind of like your cheerleader. So I gravitate towards those people when I'm going through a phase of transformation or uncertainty, or I'm just not feeling very comfortable with where I'm at that point in time. So I think it's really important to find people, like have your people that you can go to.
yes, yes,
Yeah, most
you have to have
definitely.
people. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it too is like the energy that they give off, right? Because like I do have friends where I'm that person for them, and then I have other friends that have that energy of like it's safe, it's secure, it's gonna be okay. You are amazing just how you are,
Yeah,
and those are the people during that time in your life, the transition phase or that transition season. Those are the people that you go to, the ones that give you that energy of like, you know what, it's gonna be fine.
well, and the ones that you've had around for a long time, like
Hmm.
I've got a best friend that I've had for 30 years. She's been with me through all of the transitions and all of the changes, and she can remind
Yes.
me, but you've been through this or you've tackled this. This is nothing.
Yes.
They are great reminders of what you've done already and what you're capable of.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
wonderful. Yeah.
lift you up.
Yeah, same. I have a few friends. One of my friends, we've been friends since we were three, and we're more like sisters than anything else. And she just knows me so
Mhm.
well. She
Mhm.
sometimes, I mean, I almost feel like sometimes those people know you better than you know yourself because
Yes.
they can recognize all of the great and good things instead of,
Yeah. And if I don't have her, my sister,
yeah,
who
yeah,
has known me all my life,
yes,
is my backup.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
awesome. I
all of
love
her
that.
life. I'm
Yeah,
older than her.
all of her life since birth.
Yes.
Okay, so our next question here is focusing on goal setting, and how we can keep from burning out, because I know that you and I've talked about this recently. It's really hard because like the first of the year is the time to set new goals. People have resolutions. Sometimes they set resolutions and there's things that they want to accomplish for the new year. And then we get to this time in the year around springtime, and sometimes some of those goals get pushed to the back burner with summer around the corner or holidays, or they just kind of burn out on those goals. So how do you stay consistent with your goals and keep from burning out?
Well, I have big goals and I have little goals. So I'll take a big goal and break it up. Um, for example, I'm working on my PhD. So the ultimate goal is to achieve that degree, but I have to break it up into the little goals. And, if it's a weight loss goal, you might want to lose 50 pounds, but that seems so far away. I back it up, and this week I'm going to concentrate and I'm going to lose 2 pounds. And I break up those goals so that they're doable, so that I can reach it within a certain amount of time. I taught preschool for years, and their attention span is 15 minutes. So they have to be able to accomplish or complete something in a short period of time. And it kind of taught me that I can do the same thing. I don't have to wait 3 months for results. I can break it down and kind of reward myself at the end of the week. Hey, you did it. You made it. You made this goal. Now let's set a new goal for next week that ultimately gets us to the big end goal. But you keep trucking along. And I read just the other day that, New Year's resolutions, people give up on them by January 10th.
Oh no.
So, maybe when you set your goal, you set it so that it's, within a week, you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to accomplish this. So you give up, set your goal so that you can accomplish something little each week or each day, even.
Hmm.
So that's kind of how I try to look at it. I don't try to look at the big picture very often. I try to look at what can I get done this day or this week. What
Yeah.
about you? What do you do?
No, I think that that last sentence is a really good call out because I remember I was a college athlete and I had, a college athlete body. I was working out every day, practicing every day. I could eat anything I wanted. And I still had my college athlete body.
Oh, the old days.
I know. And then you get out of that and life changes and suddenly you're working and you're not working out and you're going through all these transitions and changes. And so whenever I would want to try to get back into shape or try to start working out again, I would look at old pictures of myself and I mean, sometimes that does motivate people. It depends on your personality type. So, for some people, if you look at a picture of what you want to look like, or if you look at a life that you want to live one day or a career, sometimes that
Mm.
does keep you motivated. But for other, it's important to know yourself because for other people, it does the opposite. So, for me, I would think, I don't look like that. Every day I would be like, oh gosh, that's so far away. Like looking like it would just be a little bit demoralizing or it would kind of like push me down a little bit. So for me, it was important to not, like you said, not focus on the end goal. Instead, what I like to do in order to not burn out and to stick to my goals, I have to take it slow and steady. And I also have to keep track of my progress because I'm definitely the person who maybe I have gone really far, maybe I have lost a lot of weight or whatever it might be, and I can't see it in myself. I think I look exactly the same that I looked, 30 pounds ago, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And so for me, I do have to do both of those things. So the first thing, I make sure that my goals are absolutely realistic. And if I surpass those goals, fantastic. But I want to make sure that they are set to an expectation that I know that I can realistically achieve. And slow and steady, really. I know that's so cliche from the what is it, the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the
Yes.
race. Yeah, I know it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like if you
Yes.
set those small goals, you're more likely to stick to it and you're going to see better, more permanent progress over time. So I take it slow, and then the other thing is I keep track of progress. If I'm doing some kind of like weight loss or fitness program, I take pictures. Or even measurements. So for me, weight doesn't work because I build muscle. So when I work out, sometimes I get heavier, but my waistline goes down or my inches go down or my muscle tone is better, whatever it might be. So for me, pictures is really, really important for being able to compare like, oh wow, I do look a lot different than I did a month ago. Those exercises are paying off. Or like for homework or degrees or whatever it might be, again, I keep track of the small things. Like I only focus on one class at a time, one week at a time, one assignment at a time, and I start checking things off. And then pretty soon I look at my list and think, oh my gosh, I've already done 20 assignments, like this is amazing. So definitely keep track of your progress and celebrate the small wins. I think that people don't do that enough. They think, I'm going to celebrate when I get to the end goal. No, celebrate along the way. You should have milestones. And when you reach those little milestones, do something for you. Celebrate that
Yeah.
success because it's going to help you motivate yourself. And then also, you want to reach that next milestone because you want to keep celebrating.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are, I mean, that's just some of the advice that I have for sticking to goals and not burning out. Take your time and be very realistic with your
Yes. Very
expectations.
realistic.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
the key, I think.
hmm And for the most part, I don't remember who told me this. I'd love to give them credit for it. But someone told me, um, like and I guess it goes to that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, which most success doesn't come overnight. Like you don't acquire a degree in a day or a month or most of the time even a year. You don't lose all of the weight you want in a week because it took you longer than a week to put it on, you know? Same thing with the career. You don't just wake up and then have your career. You usually have to get job experience or certifications or relevant work experience, whatever it might be. And so I think it's important to be very realistic about
You don't
things.
drive a car the first time perfectly.
No.
You know, think about when you go with your mom or dad to get in the car and learn how to drive.
Yeah.
That first couple of times is pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not very good at it. You're not good at riding a bike the first time you sit on it, but you
Yes.
get back on and you keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the trick. We're all going to kind of miss a goal here and there, but if you keep trying and you keep trying to meet those little milestones and reward yourself along the way,
Yeah.
you'll get bigger goals.
Yeah. Be persistent and have grit. You know,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
give up. Get right back up. We talk about that in coaching a lot, like for coaching and athletics. It's like, so what? Next pitch. So what? Next
Mhm.
shot. So what?
Yep.
Keep moving forward.
Yep. It's not the end of the world.
No, no. Okay, so our final question here has to do with habits and personal growth, which can help a lot with your goals, right? Like that ties very well into goal setting and maintaining those goals. So, what's a small daily habit that has made a significant difference in your personal growth?
Well, I don't do it daily, but I should. But I have the habit of walking. I'll just go walk. In the warmer weather, I'll go out and do something in my garden, even if it's just for 10 minutes and I pull 5 weeds.
Mm-hmm.
But daily, I try to give myself some outside time, 10 or 15 minutes, where I leave the phone inside, I leave the computer off, and I just kind of soak in the day, the atmosphere, nature. Some days, if it's cold, I'll stand in the front door where the sun's shining in. So I try to just find 10 or 15 minutes where I just completely check out and do something for me. Go for a walk, go out and sit in my garden, whatever, strikes me at the time. So what do
Yeah.
you do every day?
I love that. There's really two habits that I would like to share. The first one is the same thing. I go on walks. I do go almost every day. And if I don't go, I notice a significant difference. So
Mhm.
walking is really good for you physically, but also mentally. For me, it provides me with mental clarity, space away from technology because you know that our careers and business, we are on technology all the time. We're being pulled
Yep.
in a million different directions, people constantly reaching out, messaging, whatever it might be, which is wonderful. But you need space away from that to just be with
Mhm.
yourself and your own thoughts. And so for me, sometimes I walk in silence. Sometimes I'll put an audiobook on. Or sometimes I'll set up a playlist ahead of time. I'll queue up all my music and I'll play songs that just make me happy and excited. And I can go for a walk and feel heavy with stress or anxiety or just exhaustion from the day. And then I come out of the walk feeling totally, just like spring, totally renewed and refreshed. Like I'm ready to go. Let's do this again, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
walks have been a major daily habit that have really changed my life. And then the other thing that I want to share, because this has also been a wonderful habit that I have started to implement, I went on a retreat, and I'll give a shout out. So we have a local fitness trainer. It's called ABC Fitness, and she does retreats and stuff like that. I went on a retreat with the group and got to work with a personal trainer from Southern California. Her name is Gina, and she did a lesson on something called habit stacking, which I've never heard of it before. And I learned a lot about it. And then after that, I started to do my own research on it and figure out the ways in which I could implement it into my life. And it was great. And this is a wonderful thing for those of you with a very busy schedule. Like if you are in business and you're just running, or you're a parent, or you're a student and you are working jobs and going to school and you just don't have a lot of time. Habit stacking is wonderful because you are just stacking a good habit on top of an established habit that you already have. So, for example, if you want to take vitamins and you forget to take vitamins, stack that habit on top of brushing your teeth. Right? So maybe every time you brush your teeth, you take vitamins really quickly, or even coffee. So every time you fill up your coffee cup, you take your vitamins in the morning. Another habit stacking Another way that I've used habit stacking is for stretching. I know stretching is really good for you, and I forget to do it most of the time.
Yeah.
So usually I will pair stretching with checking my phone. So because of work in my career, the first thing I do when I peep my little eyes open is I check my phone. I check my email, check my text messages, check Teams, check Outlook, check my calendar. And so instead of doing that, which to be honest, it's kind of a toxic trait. When you wake up, you should not look at your phone.
No,
You should
shouldn't.
not. You should not.
But
But
I
I
do
do.
too. So
I do
can't say
too.
anything.
Yeah. So I stack the habit of stretching on top of that. So I'll jump out of bed and I will stretch, whether it's on the floor or whatever, as I'm checking those things in my phone. So I'm taking care of stretching, but then it's also kind of a more soothing meditative practice while I'm looking at all of the things that I have to catch up on for the day. But you
Mhm.
can really habit stack. You can habit stack anything. Um, I'll share this just because it's kind of funny. So there's someone, I'm not going to mention her, but someone who told me that her fitness journey started with using the restroom. Like every time she would go to the restroom, she would make herself do 20 squats, and like 20 calf raises. So she would have different exercises that she would pick each day, and every time she would use the restroom. And you can do this with more than just the restroom. Like, if you go to get a water on a break, or if you take a sip of water, whatever it might be. But whenever you go to do something, you do those exercises. And she said by the end of the day, she had done like 100 or more, squats. And then from there, like it kind of encouraged her to start exercising a little bit more.
Mhm.
But just there's so many cool things that you do already in your ritual that you can just stack a habit on top of. So those habit stacking has made a huge difference for me because it didn't feel like I was adding anything to my plate, which already feels really full.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, check it out. Research it, check it out.
Might try
Or
the bathroom one.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if you guys want to know any more about habit stacking, reach out. You guys can leave a comment. You can message us. Reach out. We're happy to chat with you about it or do more videos on it. It's such a great topic. But is there anything else, Becky, that you want to share about renewing and spring and transitions or growth and goals?
Just that, we start the year strong with all our goals and our ambitions, and spring is our chance to revisit that and
Hmm.
renew it and keep at it.
Yes.
So don't give up on those goals that you set a couple months ago. Keep after it, and shrink those goals down a little bit and see if you can't accomplish something by December.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I would say, kind of, my final piece of advice too is don't forget about yourself. Like, one, have some grace for yourself, be kind to yourself, and be realistic. And then don't forget about yourself because a lot of times we're rushing from thing to thing. We're taking care of other people. We're so busy and caught up in our everyday tasks that we forget about us. So even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour in the evening before you go to bed, do something for you. Watch your favorite show, read a book, read a magazine, whatever it is that you like to do, play a video game, whatever it might be. Please don't forget about yourself because you are important, and in order to give to others, your cup has to be just as full. So, yeah. But that's all the time that we have today. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to know anything, or if you want to work with us, you just reach out, you let us know. But we were so happy to have you with Spill the Tea with S&B, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Take care.
Yay. Bye.